Vietnam has called out China. China's response? Clearly dismissive. That's why they don't even like channels like ours. This is an attempt for China to woo Vietnam back. They've even called this disgraceful anti-China propaganda. This caused the local industries to be dependent on Chinese. Vietnam's strategy is clear: to unite the region against China's territorial disputes. Will Vietnam be able to stop the harassment and threatenings from its neighbors? The Chinese Communist Party is making bold moves, and Vietnam is not standing idly by. Just recently, a Chinese vessel rammed into a Filipino vessel in the South China Sea. This collision between a Filipino and Chinese vessel is not just merely a maritime mishap. It's a blatant display of Chinese aggressive tactics in the South China Sea. The Filipino vessel was operating its own sovereign territory and was rammed by the Chinese vessel. This can be only seen as Chinese intimidation. So what does this mean to Vietnam? It means everything to Vietnam, and it shows the Chinese aggressive nature and growing aggressiveness in the South China Sea. This shows Chinese aggression and intimidation and threatens the entire region. So this kind of behavior from China is not new, but it's becoming increasingly bold and dangerous. But Vietnam is not taking it lying down. Vietnam is silently planning a strategic pushback against China's advances through territorial disputes and economic threats. Vietnam is fighting back against its powerful neighbor. So today we are uncovering the aggressive developments in Vietnam, the far-reaching implications, and how Vietnam is standing up to China's dominance. This is a story you definitely don't want to miss, so let's get started. Hello, my name is Ken Duong, international business immigration attorney with over 15 years of experience helping companies and individuals to invest into Vietnam, especially with factories that have setups in China, opening up factories here in Vietnam, looking at industrial parks, doing the legal work, and also protecting themselves in Vietnam. So the CCP has its sights on Vietnam as it continues to expand its dominance. Just a few weeks ago, in a bold move, China silently annexed the northeast corner of the Gulf of Tonkin. This new area is in between Vietnam and China's Hainan Island, a hotbed of tension. This new coastline does not only ruffle feathers, but redraws the map threatening Vietnam. China justifies its annexation based on the UN Convention on the Laws of the Seas, claiming it allows for simplification of the complex boundaries. But Vietnam's really not buying it. Vietnam's ministry is requesting China to respect the 2000 demarcation agreement and international law. China's response? Clearly dismissive, asserting its legitimate right to the Gulf of Tonkin. This isn't the first time that Vietnam has called out China. Earlier this year, Vietnam denounced China for its claim to the Paracel Archipelago, which dates back to 1974. Better late than never, right? This historical grudge echoes as Vietnam takes a stand today. But Vietnam is not only having verbal sparring, it's actually forging strategic alliances. For example, Vietnam and the US signed a comprehensive strategic partnership agreement. Also, Vietnam and Japan also have comprehensive strategic partnerships. Vietnam and Indonesia are cooperating on defense. Vietnam and the Philippines have created a South China Sea security. These agreements are uniting countries that are against China to help protect Vietnam and the region as a whole. The Philippines is being extremely vocal every time a Chinese vessel attacks a Filipino vessel or even uses their water guns against the vessels. Moreover, the Filipinos are using a bullhorn to blast the bad behavior of the Chinese. I think that Vietnam is taking a stance similar to the Philippines by showcasing to the world the Chinese bad behavior. In late 2023, Vietnamese leaders met with Xi Jinping and signed over 36 agreements. This is an attempt for China to woo Vietnam back through economic incentives like the imports of durians. But Vietnam is no fool and has a long and strong memory dating back to the 1979 Chinese invasion and the 1988 clashes over the Spratly Islands. Vietnam remembers this vividly. In 2014, China set up oil rigs in Vietnam territory. In 2019, China aggressively attacked Vietnam oil rigs in its economic zone. In 2023, there was a standoff between Chinese and Vietnamese vessels over these disputed areas. Vietnam is no longer going to stay quiet, but it's also not fighting China alone. And don't be mistaken, this is a consistent pattern of aggressive behavior from China. Moreover, the territorial disputes and the aggressive posturing by the Chinese threatens the regional stability. Vietnam's responses to these incidents demonstrates a strategic shift towards more assertiveness and regional cooperation. The CCP hates bad exposure. That's why they don't even like channels like ours. They've even called this disgraceful anti-China propaganda. But we actually wear that as a proud badge of honor, as we rely on your viewership to create very informative content and bring you the truth. So it only takes you 1 second to click and subscribe to our channel, and also you'll be able to annoy the CCP. Last month, we made a video on why China is slashing its steel prices due to the US-China trade war. The US-China trade war has impacted the global trade dynamics. China, facing tariffs and a shrinking domestic market, has flooded the global market with cheap steel in order to maintain its output and also its employment levels. This strategic move aims to destabilize the other countries such as Vietnam and Southeast Asia that rely on steel for the infrastructure projects. While cheap steel may look like an advantage in the short term, in the long term, dependency on Chinese steel will impact Vietnam's infrastructure projects due to the construction timelines, potential increases in the price, and other fluctuation variables as well, thus causing economic instability in Vietnam. Moreover, Chinese companies setting operations in Vietnam for their steel production will limit the job opportunities for the Vietnamese and the knowledge as well, while they are producing a cheaper steel inside of Vietnam. This practice does not contribute to the sustainable development of Vietnam's economy. Additionally, Vietnam faces anti-dumping measures when it re-exports these products to other countries. These measures are implemented to protect the local industries. However, it would impact the Vietnamese exporters. With the influx of Chinese companies into Vietnam and setting up operations, it will reduce the potential benefits to local businesses and stifle domestic innovation. For example, in 2019, the US imposed heavy tariffs on Chinese steel, and China responded by decreasing the prices and increasing production by selling to neighboring countries. This caused the local industries to be dependent on Chinese steel. But Vietnam is fighting this trend by strengthening its local production capabilities and also finding other trading partners, thus further isolating China in the region. These actions show a calculated step for Vietnam to reduce its economic reliance on China and building stronger relationships with other countries. This multifaceted approach includes ramping up local production and building stronger ties with Japan and India, who are also weary about China's practices. Vietnam's strategy is clear: to unite the region against China's territorial disputes and economic influence. This collective stance is not just a defensive maneuver, but a proactive strategy to ensure economic and regional stability and independence from Chinese influence. The time to stand up against the CCP was yesterday, but today is always better than tomorrow. So let's support Vietnam and its allies in their fight for sovereignty and regional stability. The US-China trade war and many signed comprehensive partnership agreements have had a positive impact on foreign direct investment into Vietnam. With more investments and more opportunities, this means more profits for factories and companies in Vietnam. Our law firm specializes in helping European and US companies relocate their factories to Vietnam. Our custom-tailored solutions are meant for a smooth transition, protecting your investments and maximizing your opportunities and success in this dynamic market. If you're thinking about making the move, contact our team of experts to help you transition seamlessly and smoothly into the Vietnam market. So what do you think? Will Vietnam be able to stop the harassment and threatenings from its neighbors? Will the allies come and defend and protect the region? Let us know in the comment below about what you think. But as always, on behalf of Duong Global, my name is Ken Duong. Thank you very much for watching this video. But make sure you like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Comment below about what your thoughts are on this video, and of course, click on the bell for notifications. So thank you very much for watching this video, and we'll see you on the next one.